All right, everybody. So we are talking fire prevention now, and we do have the Acting Director, Forest Resource Inventory Management at the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Dave Samayah. Mr. Samayah, thank you very much for coming this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Of course. Well, Mr. Samayah, last week, the Met Office would have declared that the dry season has begun.
Right.
And I know with that, it poses a number of challenges ahead, or judging from past experience, and what would have occurred in the past, what are some of the challenges that is faced this time around?
Well,
are faced this time around?
Well, as based on what the Met Services has declared,
yes,
we are in for a more drier season than normal. Intense weather within the first 3 months of the year. Let's say the second 3 months is going to be a little easier. And with this brings the threat of perennial forest fires. And these forest fires pose a great threat to our environment, to our resources, and it puts a burden on the economy as a whole.
Yeah. But you know, Mr. Samayah, there has been a view that in some cases, persons would have lit these fires, and in other cases, these fires would have been lit naturally. Is that so?
Okay. In the Trinidad scenario, we have no, no factual evidence to support the unnatural lighting of fires. In other countries, you find forest fires are ignited through lightning, but in our dry season, we don't have lightning. You find that there's some research says self-combustion. We don't have that scenario here. Most of our fires, in fact, all of our fires in Trinidad and Tobago is caused by human influence. So it's a sad reality.
Because a few days ago, Mr. Samayah, I was driving along the highway coming into Port of Spain, and I'm seeing this bushfire, and I was of the view that this would have, because, you know, a lot of Nancy stories are being told in Trinidad and Tobago. You know how we are, that there may have been a bottle there or a piece of glass or something, and because of the intense heat, it would have caused a fire.
No, that's not true at all, because the reality of it is that somebody might have been driving along the roadway, smoking a cigarette, and without properly extinguishing it, just flick the butt outside. And with the dry grass, you know, sometimes when these tractors cut the road edge and the dry grass is there, it's excellent fuel. A simple thing as a cigarette butt will ignite that. Or sometimes you scratch a match and you throw it and you didn't extinguish the match. That's all it takes.
Is there a difference between a forest fire and a bush fire?
Well, a forest fire is an unplanned, unscheduled fire that occurs in the forest. Bush fires are what you find more outside, like on the road edge. Bush fires will normally start on the outside and gravitate towards the forest, igniting the forest. We in the Forestry Division, we more concentrate on forest fires because we have 192,000 hectares of forested lands to maintain, right? So you find a lot of time that the public will call the Forestry Division and they say they have fire like carrying in those rice fields, but that does not fall under the Forestry Division purview, right? Because those are more bush fires, and we are concentrated on the forested areas.
So you're telling me, Mr. Samayah, that those fires that we're seeing in the mountains, people are lighting that?
Yes.
And for what purpose?
They are lighting it because you find that you might find it strange that in these mountainous, very remote areas that you see in fires, but it's always because of human. You find that people going up there, you have hunters. They're trying to flush out animals. They light the burrows so to flush out the animal. You have hikers going up. You have hikers going and they light a little fire to make their coffee or something and they didn't properly extinguish it. You have people going for recreational purposes. People like to go river and make a cook. You go and you make a cook and you don't extinguish the fire properly. And you have people up there who's squatting. Squatting is one of our major problems. When you look at the northern range, you see a lot of bare areas. All of a sudden, you see an area that's crop up bare, and that's from slash and burn agriculture. And these people, the easiest way to clear these areas is to light a fire and let it burn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find some people who live in these hillside areas, they want to clear the land. And the easiest way to clear the land is just light a fire without any care for anybody around.
Does the ministry have any data as to how many hectares of land are destroyed or trees, hectares of trees are destroyed every year because of this type of behavior?
Yes, we do. The Ministry Forestry Division keeps, based on our patrols, we normally document and record every fire that we encounter and the area. Last year, that's 2023, for instance, we had over 375 fires, and that amounted to over 1,500 hectares of land being burned. And 1,500 hectares of land might seem a little bit, but remember, we are a small island state. Our land is a small amount, so we have to manage and protect every single hectare that we have.
Yeah. Let's speak a little bit. Are there repercussions for people who are lighting these fires indiscriminately?
Yes, there are. Now, what I should mention first that during the dry season, which starts from the 1st of December to the 30th day of June under the Agriculture Fires Act, you are required by law to get a permit to light a fire, a fire in your property, right? These permits can be acquired from any fire service station, and there are stipulations on the permit when you can light your fire, not during high winds, not during the peak of the day, which is the hottest time, and this kind of thing. And someone who is caught in the act of lighting a fire without a fire permit is liable to a charge of $20,000 and 6 months imprisonment. So it's given the fact that the fine was previously $1,500, and in 2015, I think it was, the Forestry Division lost one of its officers in a fire. And based on that, the fines have subsequently been reviewed, and it's now $20,000 and 6 months, and 6 months imprisonment.
Because of these new fines that are there, you think that it has somehow impacted positively in that people now know what the repercussions are and they are not engaging in lighting forest fires so often?
I honestly, although the fines have been increased, people still take their chances to do these activities.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about enforcement. And you have to catch somebody in the act to prosecute. And we have to change the thinking and the mindset of our society and let people understand that our environment is precious. Yes. And it's not. We have to secure it for our future generations.
Let's talk a little bit about the impact that this is having on the mountains, the forests every year.
Right. Well, at least one of the key things, I am sure yourself, when you drive up during the rainy season, you like to see the forest green and nice.
Of course.
During this period that we call the dry season, we lost the aesthetics of that because you're seeing brown. Everything is burnt. With that now, you have, with all the smoke and ash, that couples with the Sahara dust, we have medical issues. We have loss of the vegetation. We have loss of fauna. We have all the wildlife we lose, the habitats lost. You have people lost property. Some people lost houses. People who have legitimate garden lost, all the gardens are burned. They lost crops. So it's a financial loss, socio-economic loss. It's loss right wrong. And together with that now, you have the ripple effect of fires, because when a fire occurs now, you burn, the land is bare. Then the onset of the rainy season. So you find when the rain falls now, there's no shrub or grass to retain that water. So that water comes gushing down, now moving into causing flooding. Coupled with the flooding, you find you get erosion. You get siltation of the waterways. You get a lot of different problems, from one activity, unplanned activity.
Yeah. And then you have a situation, sir, where if you destroy thousands of hectares of land and thereby you no longer have trees and the flora and the fauna and so on, but this doesn't grow overnight, right?
No.
It takes years and years and years.
A forest takes between 70 to 100 years to reach maturity. Some of us mightn't even last that long. So we have to protect it for our future generations.
What can the Forestry Division do to reduce forest fires?
Well, we do a lot of, this is one avenue here
of course,
to come and enlighten the public. We do a lot of community outreach where we go out to communities who are in the forest, the high-prone forested areas. We talk to school children because we believe that the message has to start from young going up, right? Mm-hmm. We do a lot of different public education. We do brochures. Only last week, the Forestry Division was involved in a BioReach project, which is a global environmental funded project. And one of the objectives of that project is fire suppression, fire management. And the Forestry Division had in training some of its forestry staff together with community groups for an entire week on forest management, forest fire management, forest fire detection, suppression, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. What is the role of the individual? Do they have a role, the citizen?
Every citizen has a role. Every citizen has a role. We have to be conscious of what we are doing out there. If you're a smoker, properly extinguish your cigarette. If you're a limer and you're in the river, properly extinguish that fire when you leave there. Make sure that there is no smoke, right? If you're going if you're a natural enthusiast and you're going to walk and camp, don't throw the litter, don't light anything. If you light a fire for some reason, make sure it's properly extinguished. And always be a brother keeper. And if someone in your group is doing the wrong thing in terms of fires and stuff, enlighten them. Let them know the effects of it.
Yeah. Is there a fire season?
Yes. As I said earlier, the fire season is under the Agriculture Fires Act from the 1st of December in 1 year to the 30th of June the subsequent year. However, the Forestry Division, our fire season is normally from the 1st of March to the end of May, because that is what we consider our hottest period for us. But in Trinidad and Tobago, the fire season is from 1st of December to the 30th of June.
Is there a particular area, or are there particular areas in Trinidad and Tobago that are known for forest fires annually?
Well, from our data and thing, we have observed that there are certain areas that are very, very prone to fires. For instance, the Diego Martin area, that hill's going up to Cumberland and stuff like that. Every year, that's a prime area for burning. You find that the area around by Hillview College, that Calvary Hill, that whole area, that's a next hot spot, what we consider a hot spot. In the southern areas, we have a lot of areas like the Brickfield areas, Princestown, some areas, and like down Cedar side, you find key hot spots, and those are areas that we closely monitor and concentrate our groups on.
Yeah. But how do you deal with that? If you, and let me ask it in this way. So if it is that I, as a citizen, notice that there's a forest fire, how do I contact the Forestry Division?
Well,
and how do you all deal with it?
Okay. Well, once you can contact the Forestry Division via our forest hotline, forest fire hotline, which is 3816. When that calls come in to us, we will then send back a call to the respective group that is in the area. Although although sometimes that call might come in, but our group might be on site already, because how the Forestry Division operates during the fire season is that we have our groups stationed throughout the country in all our what we call conservancies. And we have men on the ground, teams, that will go on and deal with the fires.
Yeah. Should I take it upon myself to try to extinguish this fire?
I wouldn't advise that, right? If it's a small little fire that's coming to the edge of your property or so, you could just probably out it. But remember, with the fire, there's a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heat. We're not sure what physical condition you might be in, and you're not sure, you are not trained, so you're not sure how the wind condition might turn, how different environmental factors might change, and that fire could turn on you. So it's better to be careful and protect yourself.
And it has even turned on the professionals in the past, right?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Mr. Samayah, anything else you'd like to tell us before you leave us this morning, sir?
Well, again, I just remember that forests are part of our lives, and we need to protect it. It maintains our livelihood. It maintains the beauty of Trinidad. And in order for us to maintain that, we have to stop fires. We have to be more conscious of the littering, of the destruction, and all that goes with it.
Yeah, Mr. Samayah, it was a pleasure having you here this morning. We do thank you very much for the information. Just again, if people need to contact you all, how do they do that?
They can contact us via 225-3816. That's our forest fire hotline.
Yeah.
And then they can also contact the ministry via the ministry website.
All right. Thank you very much again, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to a very short break. We're coming back.